sometimes there's I think a false conflict is set up between research and writing cases, and actually you've combined the two. Has that worked well for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for many cases, there's absolutely an element of research that goes into it. You know, you want to have a credible story. You want to have not just the case, but the teaching note, which is so important, and especially nowadays with the growth in MSc programs. I mean, as you well know, it's the fastest growing degree program in business schools. And, you know, certainly in MSc programs, in the teaching notes, they want to see the linkages between research and teaching, you know, that this is an example of this particular theory or model, or a limitation, or a way to extend a theory or model. And so, you know, to me, these are quite complementary activities and quite effective. And I think that, you know, a lot of research goes into a good case. It's not your classic, or what used to be called Little Willie story. There's a whole lot more to it than that. And, you know, and the trick is then to, of course, synthesize everything to a length that makes sense, and this is not unlike the process in writing journal articles. You know, you don't get 50 pages to say it. You know, and you know how many times have people had an article accepted, and then the editor-in-chief says, "Okay, we're accepting your article. That's the good news." The bad news, maybe, is that we only want it as a research note. And can you please cut this thing down? So, you know, we'll end up getting it to a length, and that to me is the hard work with the cases. And, you know, one of the things that I've always tried to personally concentrate on and encouraged others to do, you know, a case is not supposed to be a book. It's supposed to be at a length that the students will actually read it and have time to think about it, as opposed to pretend to read it and pretend to have thought about it, you know, because these 25 or 30 page epistles, you know, I don't know anybody who reads these things anymore. And in certain countries, they're, as you well know, I mean, these kinds of cases are literally unsellable. You know, nobody wants to buy them because the students just flat out won't read them in a lot of countries. So, you know, there's a reality here that we have to keep in mind. And of course, there is a strong link to me between research and case writing anyways.
It's an interesting insight into how you think through the process of case writing. Is there a piece of advice, a single fundamental principle that you would like to pass on to newcomers to case writing?
It is something that in many ways is a thing that they should engage in themselves, I think, while they're doing research. And so, you know, this may sound a bit odd, but, you know, the process of journal article writing is so fraught with problems and deadlines that you miss, and it takes years to do it. You can actually do some case writing in a shorter time period and have it published and be learning at the same time. And, you know, I have found, for example, that case writing has created lots of research ideas for me, because you start, you know, you're talking to managers, you're engaging with them, and you realize that the problem they're dealing with, the scholarly community has not really dealt with at all, or not very well. And maybe this would be a good area for which to do some research. So, you know, I do find these to be quite complementary activities. It's nice to be able to finish something while you're still working on an article. So my habit has been, I try to work on 4 cases a year, and I've done that for 35 years now. You know, it's just part of, you know, my annual activities. And, you know, it sometimes varies a little, but that seems to have worked as a sort of basic formula. But at least 1 case a year, I don't think there's anything that is stopping anybody from doing a case a year. I mean, it's pretty easy with your own contacts or the contacts of your institution or alumni networks to get started. And, you know, there's lots of support material that you have and Ivey has and others have about, you know, how to write cases. So I don't think there's any big impediment. And of course, we all know that there's more incentives now to write cases. I mean, the accreditation agencies are looking at case writing as a legitimate activity. Some of the countries in which I'm regularly interacting, they actually pay a cash bonus to their faculty members if they get a case accepted for distribution in a major, you know, from one of the major distributors. And you know, some of them are even treating it as a sort of tier 2 publication, because certainly the cases that we register are reviewed. You know, we reject cases. Everything that comes over the transom doesn't get published, and we have to, I think, have these quality control things that are similar to the review process. So to me, it's just a natural part of, you know, one's academic activities that I would certainly encourage new faculty members to consider as part of their portfolio. I mean, I've obviously written cases for a long time, and, you know, there's been lots of adoptions, and one of the things that I do sometimes with researchers that drive some of them a bit crazy is I'll throw out a comparison. I'll say, well, you know, my cases have been studied, I don't know, between 3.5 and 4 million times that I have hard evidence on. And my research has been cited, you know, on Google Scholar, you know, 38,000 times or something in that ballpark. I said, but, you know, for every prof I'm touching 100 students, which is better? And that gives people a bit of pause. But